Resident Evil 4 Remake is one of the best games to come out this year, but by the nature of horror games, many people will be too scared to get into them, and that's a shame because they'll miss out on this gem of an experience. I personally don't like horror genre, and still really enjoyed playing Resident Evil 4, the original over 15 years ago, and now the remake. It's because despite elements of horror and surprise, the game has many RPG elements and immersive action combat to really let you feel in control, which removes a lot of the fear from me, and now I'm replaying the game on the hardest difficulty and still having fun. So I'll be going over the 3 most important things that help me overcome those high pressure situations so that someone new to the game or hesitant to purchase it will be able to step into the danger zone with guns blazing. First off, positioning and awareness are everything to the combat. If the zombies get on top of you, you can be overwhelmed by their body blocking you. They can grapple you, which will make you lose control of your character and get hit by other attacks. And in general, most enemies do their damage with melee weapons. Staying at range is important, but not too far, because when you stagger an enemy with a bullet, you can then follow up with a melee attack to finish them off. Because ammo conservation is extremely important, you won't want to use several bullets per enemy. Find that sweet spot where you're out of range of them, but also within range to run up and kick or stab them before they regain their balance. Kick attacks can also really get nice value when they knock back multiple enemies off a single stagger. Also, despite this being a third-person shooter, the enemies come from all directions and can easily surround you. This is the worst case scenario because you can't control 2 sides while turning back and forth the same as you would while handling one wave of enemies from one direction. Make sure your camera POV is set to max, and then you want to always lure enemies into choke points or places with only 1 or 2 entrances. This way you can use shotguns or grenades to get multiple kills at once, and then before you get backed into a corner, you want to rotate to another spot with a good choke or pathing. Even though it may look like you're trapped in some spots, there are ledges and ladders you can climb or jump down, which can create an opening for you to get some distance and find another spot. At a minimum, you'd need 2 of these spots and just rotate between them as you cull the zombies. It's actually a lot of fun to use the environment in the remake because of how many options you have. Get creative and find your answer. Next is how to aim precisely. Many enemies have specific weaknesses, like shooting their backs, their heads, or the explosives in their hands. Or just simply hitting them will stagger them and prevent them from advancing on you. You get punished pretty hard for missing because enemies get near you and you waste your precious ammo. So having high accuracy is a lot of the time better than unloading your clip as fast as possible. Nerves can get in the way for sure, but if you aren't getting at least 60% accuracy at the end of each chapter, you definitely should think of a better approach. There is an option to automatically track enemies with your cursor, and this definitely helps, but I turned this off because I wanted more control for more immersion. You can either be a professional esports shooter and flick your mouse all over the place with amazing aim, or you can do what I do for accurate aim with the least amount of effort. For me, the 2 most important things for precise aim are rhythm and minimizing movement. When you hit an enemy, they often recoil, making their heads move around drastically, but you want to keep hitting that head to get the most damage. Instead of following the head around, you know it's going to come back to that same spot. So when you land a headshot, don't move your aim, keep it there and shoot that head again when it comes back to your cursor. This not only minimizes the amount of user error, but also recoils them again, keeping them staggered for longer while you conserve ammo. Also, you can generally predict the enemies will run toward you because killing you is their only goal, and maybe also picking up chicks. But knowing this means that you always know which direction an enemy is heading. Instead of following them with your crosshair, Let them walk into your crosshair, and then you don't need to do the calculation of moving your gun where they will be when you want to shoot. You only need the timing of when they will cross your sights. Before we get into the last tip, please consider liking and subscribing to support me and more of these videos. Now, I'm not going to suggest parrying as the final tip, which, while it is important, I didn't really do much of it, which caused me to take a lot of damage, but what I did end up doing a lot is recovering from a bad situation. Ideally, you won't get into those situations, but the game is designed to put you in those situations constantly, and even when you are prepared, there will be some randomness that complicates it further. When panic sets in, your aim deteriorates, and you make bad decisions. The best way to recover from a bad situation is the flashbang grenade. Unlike a normal grenade, throwing the flashbang when you're surrounded by enemies won't get you killed in the process. For some reason, Leon's retinas are immune to bright lights. You stun most enemies, even really strong ones, and the zombies who have the parasites pop out of their heads are extremely annoying. Flashbangs will actually one-shot these parasites, saving you a lot of health and a lot of ammo while also stunning any other nearby enemies. Buy this recipe as soon as possible and always have 1 or 2 crafted and ready to use. If you don't have a flashbang, then get out your shotgun to blast multiple enemies out of your way and create a new path that you can escape from. Completely out of ammo? Invest in your knife's durability and start parrying, or just use Ashley as a meat shield and keep getting knife kills while the zombies try to take her away.
Ashley! You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.